You're listening to the Full and Thriving podcast, a place where courageous women come to break free from food obsession, heal their relationship with their body, and strive to live a life that's present, lighthearted, and meaningful. If you're listening, my wish is that this podcast serves as a catalyst that inspires you to nourish your body, nurture your mind, and energize your spirit. I'm your host, Meg McCabe, a certified life coach and eating disorder recovery coach with a PhD in having a good time. Just kidding about that last part. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello, lovely humans. Welcome to another episode of Full and Thriving. Thank you so much for being here today. I love the chance to sit down and have a solo show with all of you. I hope you're doing fabulously. I know that today is a great day for me. I just had Chick-fil-A with my sister, which is a delicious fast food restaurant. I am currently recording this episode from my brother-in-law's office at my sister's house. And he is actually away on a business trip this weekend. So I flew down to Texas to visit my twin sister, Katie, who is 6 months pregnant with a baby girl. And her baby shower is coming up at the end of the month. And then I am off to Europe for several weeks with the Recovery Collective retreat in Portugal. And this is really our last moment to have some one-on-one twin time before the baby is born. And I gotta tell you, the thought of being an auntie is just really exciting to me. I can't wait to see my sister and her husband reflected in this little girl. And I can't wait to see her personality and who she grows up to be. Oh my gosh, I know she's not even born yet, but it's so much fun to think about. And my sister actually has her name picked out already. So I've been coming up with nicknames for her, and I think it's going to be hard to resist in the future to use those, but we'll see how all of that goes. But I'm just loving life right now, being in Dallas, having some quality twin time. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit more fun, and that is the idea of personality tests, and more specifically, the one I've created for all of you to take. So I love personality tests. I kind of grew up in the era where personality tests were all over the internet, like what kind of vacation should you go on, or what is your dream job, or all of those things. I guess those are just quizzes. They're not necessarily personality tests. But anyway, ever since I was in high school, I always loved those online quizzes, and they seem to bring out so much joy in myself and other people around me. And some of them have even given me a lot of clarity in my own life. So for those of you who follow personality tests, I'm sure you have heard of the Enneagram and the Myers-Briggs personality tests. Now, I've taken both multiple times, and both of them have given me results that have helped to carve out a deeper sense of identity and understanding in who I am and what I'm meant to be doing. I kid you not, when I was 22, I took the Enneagram for the first time, and I got a 7, which is the enthusiast, with a challenger wing, which all of you guys, I do not want to explain the Enneagram right now, but I'm telling you, it's really fun if you look all of that up. And when those two results are combined, I fall into the category of the protagonist, which is where like many actors and writers and teachers have fallen into that category, including Oprah, who I love. But one thing that cracks me up the most is that the first time I took the Enneagram, I was told that a few careers were right for me. And I mean, this is just too much. The careers they said I would be good at was one, a DJ, so AKA disc jockey, who is playing all the music at the clubs and at the events. And of course, that would be me 100% because I love music. I love dancing. Music just carries my energy for hours. I can get into the zone when I listen to certain songs, and DJ made so much sense. The next one was super funny. I was told I would be a good extreme wrestler. I seriously have no idea what that was all about, but I'm guessing it's because there's a little bit of me that likes entertainment and I don't know, riling up a crowd, but I still have no clue where that came from, but it cracks me up. And then the last result for my career based on the Enneagram was talk show host. And although DJ and wrestler were pretty much out of the question for several reasons, the idea of becoming a talk show host felt actually really true to me. And even though I do not have a talk show, I don't really have plans to land a talk show, I have this amazing podcast here. And I also have the Meg and Ann Claire show on YouTube. And it's funny because being a talk show host really resonates with me. And guys, it's been over a decade since I took the Enneagram test for the first time, and I never forgot those results. And I'm not saying that those results were front and center, helping me make decisions in my life, but they were a bit of a nod to my authenticity and my authentic self. And I did keep them in my back pocket. And those results did help inform my decision to make a podcast. And it helped me truly know that a podcast and eventually a YouTube channel with Ann Claire would be a really natural fit for my personality type and help me align with who I really was. So personality tests have helped me in a pretty big way throughout my life. So thinking about how this applies to recovery and the people I work with and what I do, I've decided to create a personality test called What is Your Recovery Community Personality Type? And the reason why I decided to create this was because I work with so many amazing eating disorder recovery warriors every single day inside the Recovery Collective. And all of them offer their unique characteristics and personality traits, and they have different values and come from all different places across the globe. And I've noticed a few kind of overall personalities emerge within this community. And so during this episode today, I'm going to outline 4 of the 6 core personality types inside the Recovery Collective. And I also want to invite you to take this free eating disorder recovery community personality test inside the show notes. So if you head on over to the show notes of this episode, you will be able to take the test yourself and find out what your recovery community personality type is. And this is all fun and games. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list of personality types, but it's a really good starting point to find out where might you fit in within our community. Where can you find your sense of belonging? And I know that there are so many folks who feel nervous or shy about joining in. And I want you all to start to see a little bit of yourself reflected inside of this group. So let's continue. Chances are, if you've found my podcast, you've perhaps found the eating disorder recovery bubble on the internet. This is where you can use social media to connect with recovery professionals, content creators, and other folks in the ED recovery world. Now, like I said, I've connected with so many brave recovery warriors and listeners of this podcast and members of the Recovery Collective over the years. So I've realized that there are these 6 core personality types found in the eating disorder recovery space, and I want to outline them here today so that you can have some fun and start to distinguish where you might fit in and find belonging. You might even learn something about yourself that you will carry inside your heart for years to come, and it could inform you more about what you are meant to do in this lifetime. Now, I know that even before I join a community or even a friend group or a club or a committee, I like to envision where I could fit in or how I could contribute to make the community even better. So this quiz in the show notes is designed to help you form a deeper understanding of your potential when joining a recovery community like the Recovery Collective. And perhaps you'll start to understand when you join, what might you be known for within the group? How might you find your sense of belonging inside? And finally, maybe you will find a little nugget of truth about yourself tucked into the results you receive. And so let's just get on to it. Are you guys ready for number 1? Hello, listeners. It is that time of year again. That's right, we're opening the doors to my global eating disorder recovery community, the Recovery Collective, on May 18th, and we would love to have you join us. Curious to know what it's like inside? Here's what some of our current members are saying.
My favorite part about the Recovery Collective is that as of joining about a year ago, I finally realized how important it is to have a community in recovery.
It was definitely a turning point for me to finally talk to someone who's understanding.
The people in the Recovery Collective are some of the most lovely, supportive people I've ever met.
If you're thinking about joining the Recovery Collective, I have 2 words to say to you. Do it. Literally just give it a chance. I think you will be surprised in the most wonderful way.
Make the jump and join. It's honestly one of the best things I ever did, and I've made some of my best friends from around the world.
It's a safe place for me. I know I can say anything and never get judged for it. And I feel that we all truly care about each other.
Well, there you have it. Our members have spoken. And I might be a little biased, but I think our community is pretty great too. For more information, check out the link in the show notes and make sure you sign up for the waiting list so you can be the first to join our community on May 18th. The first recovery community personality type is the fearless leader. And the fearless leader can be described as a person who is strong-willed, determined, and proactive in their journey towards recovery. They are often the ones who take initiative to start conversations about difficult topics, and they are not afraid to speak their mind or share vulnerably about their experiences with others. They are also likely to be supportive and empathetic towards others in the community, offering words of encouragement and advice when needed. Despite the challenges they may face in recovery, a fearless leader remains committed to their goals and works tirelessly to overcome the obstacles on their path. They are also honest about the hardships they face, and inside the Recovery Collective, I see leaders come to as many calls as they possibly can, and everyone knows who they are. They either want to create their own recovery content one day, or perhaps they have their own recovery platforms established, and they are already helping others towards healing themselves. Now, think about that. Do you see yourself as a fearless leader, or perhaps you could be or want to be? Do you want to help others move forward in their journey towards recovery? Well, perhaps you are a fearless leader. And if you're looking for a leadership role inside the community, we do have the opportunity to become a peer mentor once you are close to full recovery or fully recovered. And peer mentors, right now we have Anna and Gemma. They are so amazing. They run peer support, and we could not have been more lucky to have leaders like them in the community. And perhaps one day you could be running peer support as well. All right, so next personality type is the connector. Connectors are individuals who are empathetic and caring with a natural ability to connect with others on an emotional level. So the connectors join the community to feel that sense of belonging, to feel that deep connection with individuals. And in the Recovery Collective, a compassionate connector may serve as a beacon of hope and support for those struggling with their illness. So they're often highly attuned to the emotional needs of others and can provide a safe and non-judgmental space for people to share their experiences and feelings. The connectors often reach out individually to community members seeking deeper friendships. And we have many connectors inside the Recovery Collective who are always personally reaching out to members, and they are thriving in one-on-one close friendships. They're reaching out to just check in with individuals, and they're unafraid to share where they're at with the group. The connectors are pretty much friends with everyone and make members feel truly special. I love the connectors in our community because they can be really instrumental in building a sense of belonging inside the community and fostering a supportive environment where individuals can feel heard, understood, and validated. And through their compassion and understanding, they can help others navigate the challenges of eating disorder recovery with greater ease and resilience and a feeling like they are not alone. And if you feel drawn to the connector personality type, I encourage you to join our community and eventually become what we call an internal connector inside our community. What the internal connectors do is that they are assigned new members to guide through the transition process of joining the community and help our new members feel more fully integrated into the space and give them a friendly face that they can get to know throughout their experience as a member. So these connectors are really, really folks who thrive on getting to know individuals on a deeper level. Okay, the third personality type, which is such a fun one inside recovery communities, is the advocate. And the advocate is a personality type that's commonly found in eating disorder recovery communities. And these individuals are deeply committed to promoting recovery, fighting weight stigma, and combating diet culture. They have their own recovery-focused social media account, usually, where they post and reshare anti-diet content and resources. The passionate advocates are highly knowledgeable about the challenge of eating disorder recovery and are often passionate about working in the recovery space one day, or perhaps they already do. So the advocate believes that recovery is possible for everyone, and they are dedicated to sharing their knowledge, resources, and support with others. Their advocacy work, through that, they can help break down barriers to recovery and create equitable access to care and promote a more compassionate, accepting approach to health and wellness. And the advocate typically has a pretty diversified feed supporting content and creators of all sizes, races, genders, and sexual orientations. And they work really hard to make sure that recovery is accessible to all and break down stigma of diet culture and eating disorders inside the recovery space and the world. And I love the advocates because they're all so non-judgmental and they're very open-minded and accepting of other folks. So I also want to say that the advocate likes a good campaign, such as fundraising for nonprofits and other organizations that they believe in. I really love it when I can find an advocate inside the recovery community because they add a little bit of fire into why we are all recovering and working towards recovery. It's not just an individual issue. Recovery is important on a global scale because when you recover, you are helping the world become a less stigmatized, less oppressive place. If you can accept your body and your size and eat freely, it helps the world. It helps all folks break down diet culture inside themselves because you are setting an example of a better life. All right, that is my little note on what the advocate is, and perhaps you identify with this personality type. And next, for our fourth and final personality type that we are sharing today is the introverted listener. And so if you all feel really shy and intimidated by the idea of a group, we have folks inside the community who aren't extroverted. It is not just an extrovert club. We have so many introverts inside this community who are the best listeners. And so this personality type is for the individuals who tend to be quieter and more reserved than some of our outgoing peers. And they actually prefer to listen and observe rather than speak out about their challenges or take center stage. So the introverted listeners might find comfort in the small, intimate support groups like peer support or gentle yoga. And maybe they prioritize the one-on-one interactions with trusted mentors or community members. And the introverted listeners are highly empathetic and intuitive and are able to pick up on subtle nuances of other people's experiences and emotions. So the introverted listener might not always feel comfortable sharing their own thoughts and feelings openly, but they are such an invaluable resource when it comes to others in the community who are seeking a listening ear or a safe space to explore their own struggles. So by providing a supportive presence and a non-judgmental listening ear, the introverted listeners can help create a more inclusive, welcoming, and compassionate community for everyone working towards recovery. And I love the introverted listeners in our community because they are literally here to learn and listen and support. We have so many folks who are very shy and haven't come to a call before, but they watch every single replay and they know who the members of the group are based on watching these replays and not necessarily actually being there. It's actually really cool because I will see them commenting here and there inside the community and maybe on live streams, but they don't come to calls. And I want to make sure you all know that there is no pressure to come to calls inside the recovery community. You can watch the replays and stay on the Facebook group that's private, and that's it. So we genuinely have a space for everyone in this community, whether you're the introverted listener, the passionate advocate, the compassionate connector, or the vulnerable, brave, courageous leader inside the community. So we also have two other personality types I'm not going to share in detail with you today, but we have the encourager and the recovery scholar. So you can fill in the blanks a little about what those are, but if you want to know more, go check out the quiz inside the show notes. And if you want to discover what your eating disorder recovery community personality type is, now is the time to head on over to the show notes and take your personality test. I am so curious to hear who all of the listeners are, especially those who listen to this podcast regularly. I want to know, do I have more scholars? Do I have more listeners? Do I have more leaders here? I really want to know more about you. And also to see how you might fit inside the Recovery Collective. And remember, this personality test is not an exhaustive list of all personalities. All of our members are so multidimensional and fall into many of these personality categories. The community is filled with folks from all over the world who have different gifts, qualities, values, and characteristics. And the beauty is that even though we have people from all different walks of life, we have one common thread, and that is that we all have lived experience with an eating disorder. Myself and Claire are fully recovered. We have some mentors inside the community that are fully recovered. And we have folks who are at all different stages of eating disorder recovery, from the very first baby steps to several years into recovery itself. You can find your place inside the collective. And if the collective is not your vibe, there are so many other amazing resources out there where you can find community. So I highly encourage you to seek community out, because you do not need to recover alone. And in fact, recovering with a network of folks who are supportive of you increases your chances of recovery. And it also boosts your mood to feel a sense of belonging and connection. And when you feel good, you're more likely to take action and reach your goals. So with that being said, thank you to everyone who listened to this episode of the podcast today, and mark your calendars for May 18th, because that's when you can join our community once and for all. We would love to have you inside. I know I love to know all of the podcast listeners who join. It is so much fun knowing that you all have decided to join me and work with me in that setting too. And if you need some convincing about whether or not the Recovery Collective is for you, I highly recommend you listen to episode 97 of this podcast. It's called Our Collective Voice, Stories of Eating Disorder Recovery, and it features 4 incredible existing members of the Recovery Collective. So please go check that out. I know you are going to love it. So anyway, I hope you are all having a lovely day. Go on. I invite you to take the Recovery Community personality test inside the show notes, and go check out the Recovery Collective website, which is recoverycollective.mykajabi.com. And make sure you sign up for our waiting list so that you can be the first to know when the doors open on May 18th. Thank you all so much, and have a beautiful day.